How do I get it from
direct live, and then I'm going to be putting it on my. I'll share with my thing. So we are live now, actually on Facebook. Where are you? Okay.
It's what it just said. Torah Direct is live now.
Torah Direct is live. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Honey, are you ready?
No,
I can't put it on that thing.
We're going to do Abdallah.
On my email, but
And then Honey will.
Ken, I need you to hold this.
Then we're going to say a beautiful story about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in honor of Lag BaOmer. Will get us into the spirit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai.
Oh.
Okay, so are we ready? Honey, are you ready?
do you want to hold this and I'll hold that? Hold on a second. We're just
Everybody,
getting
light your candle. Light your candle.
Ready?
baby like my fire.
You're live on Facebook.
Honey, what's
I just gotta put it back in their closet.
Get let out the closet.
That's what happened when you're quarantined for 8 weeks.
You know, I guess you found out that you love her.
You better.
Where is Honey?
This is our mechitza.
This is our mechitza.
Honey, we're live already. We gotta start.
Can I hear them?
Honey.
Come on.
Issues.
Hello, you gotta turn that off, people.
Mute us.
Bernie.
Ready?
We're gonna go with the group mute.
Honey, let's go.
I'm muted.
Ready?
Honey, there's 13 people on Facebook waiting for you.
Burn the house
Oh, not funny.
Anyway.
boire peri hagofen, boire peri hagofen. Lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 lam ba 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 bam. Lai lai la 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 lai 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 ba da da dam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Boirei minei v'shomim, boirei minei v'shomim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Boirei me'orei ho'esh, boirei me'orei ho'esh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamavdil ben kohen eshnechoil, ben oil lecho eshech, ben Yisrael Elohim, ben yoim asheri, l'shesh shevei Hamaseh. Lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai lai la 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 lai 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 lam iradam lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la ram. Baruch atah Adonai Hamavdil bein kodesh lechoil, Hamavdil bein kodesh lechoil. Hamavdil bein kodesh lechoil. Chato eseino, chato eseino, chato eseino, yimkoi la giteboch, 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 giteboch. Giteboch, 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 giteboch.
Kayach, honey, thank you very much as always. Yasher Kayach. And now it's Matzah Shabbos. Before we all go on to enjoy our Matzah Shabbos, I just want to tell you a story about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. This week on Tuesday, we're coming to the celebration of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is a very, very special celebration. And we all know that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said that every Jew should celebrate with his simcha. I'm going to tell you, and the Rabbeim, the Lubavitcher Rebbes, if you were always ever 770, you knew that by the Rebbe it was a very special day. The day of Lag BaOmer, this coming Tuesday, was a very special day. Very happy mood because of the joy of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was a Tana who lived at the end and the destruction of the Second Temple, that's 70 CE, under the Roman rule. He was one of the 5 students who were left of the students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students. All the students, besides 5, survived. One of his 5 students was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And with these 5 students, Rabbi Akiva reestablished Torah Shabbal Peh. He brought back Torah to the world with these 5 of his students. And one of his students was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And it's told that this Tuesday, Lag BaOmer, is a day that the plague stopped by the Jewish people of the 24,000 students. And it's also the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away. And he passed away on this day, and he called it Yom Hilula. He called it the day of my celebration. And he said that we should all be part of the simcha of his life. And therefore, it's a great day in celebration by Jews throughout history, and we're going to celebrate also here in Boca. By the Rebbe, it was known, and by the Rabbeim was known that it was a day that you can ask blessings for, especially for children. And Jews would come throughout the whole world on Lag BaOmer to be by the Rebbe to ask him for a blessing for children. I'm going to tell you a story that my brother said over here in Boca. My brother Alter Bucket, Alter Bucket from Chabad of Lexington. He said this story. I'll repeat it. It's a beautiful story that he was involved with on Lag BaOmer. A story, a miracle that happened with him and another Jew. And the Jews would come throughout the world, the Lubavitchers, non-Lubavitchers, from, non-from, all Chassidic, would come to the Rebbe on this day to try to corner him and ask him for a blessing. And they all knew the exact time when he would leave his house, around 8 o'clock in the morning, he would leave his house to come to 770. And there was already there hundreds of people there waiting by his door and to the way to the car, so they would be able to ask him for a bracha for children. And there was a group of students, my brother was one of those students, who went to the Rebbe's house because they knew there would be a lot of people there to push and help him get to his car, that he would be able to get into his car and come to 770. And that's what happened. He came to the Rebbe's house with a bunch of his friends, and there were already hundreds of people waiting outside the Rebbe's door at 7:30 in the morning. And the Rebbe walked out of his house around 8 o'clock. He always walked out around the same time. The Rebbe walked out, and on his way to this car that was there to take him to 770, people were pushing and asking him blessings. He was giving them blessings and blessings and blessings as he walked to the car. And then he got into his car, and the Bachrim, my brother, was there at the door, holding, protecting that people would not crush him. And as he was closing the door, this Jew, this young guy, put his foot in the door and says, "Rebbe, I got to ask you a bracha." And the Rebbe stopped, and the Rebbe said, "What?" And the Rebbe said, the young man said, I'm already married for 10 years. I have no children. Would the Rebbe give me a blessing? And the Rebbe gave him a beautiful blessing. And right before he closed the door, the Rebbe turned to him and said, "What about a brother? What about a brother?" And the guy was like shocked, didn't know what to answer, didn't understand what the Rebbe meant. And my brother said to the guy, "Just say Amen, just answer Amen." And he answered Amen. He said Amen. And the car drove away. 14 years later, the story continues 14 years later. My brother was at the oil. The Rebbe had passed away. And my brother was at the oil. This was in 1995, 1994, 95, around that time. He was at the oil, and it was late at night. And he met there, saw there standing there was a Chassidic family, a Satmar family, was standing there with 2 boys, all dressed in Shabbos clothes. It was all there to be at the oil. On the way out, my brother, very, likable guy, started talking to this guy, said Shalom Aleichem, and asked him what he's doing here. And the guy said, I come here every year to the Rebbe. I bring my 2 children, my 2 sons, and today is their bar mitzvah. And I brought them to the Rebbe. And my brother asked him, why did you bring your sons to the Rebbe? So he said this story. He started to repeat the story of Lag BaOmer, that he was standing at the car and he asked the Rebbe a bracha. The Rebbe gave him a bracha. And my brother said, wow, I remember this story because I was the young man who was standing at the car. And the Rebbe said, what about a brother? And I told you to answer Amen. And that's what the Rebbe meant. Once you answer, what about a brother? You're going to have a brother. She had twins. They had 2 boys. And he answered Amen. And that's why he had two sons. And they came to the Rebbe on the bar mitzvah to thank him, the miracle that happened on Lag BaOmer 13 years ago. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there are fascinating stories. I read today in my home today, fascinating stories of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a person who Pashut gave blessings and brought great success to Yidden, especially that time at Israel in the Roman rule. And it was known that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did everything that said that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu had the capability of annulling God's decree, and so that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had also that capability. The difference was that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, did it through tears, through prayer, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did it through joy. And that's why on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, we mourn. It's a fast day by many Jews. But on the day Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away, Lag BaOmer, it's a day of great celebration. So I'm going to tell you 2 stories I read today. One, short stories. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai once came to the city of Lud. And in the city of Lud was a Mageifa. There was an epidemic in the city of Lud. Lud today, you can go to that city in Israel. And people were dying. And he came into the city and he said, what is happening in the city? And they told him, and he stopped the Mageifa. The story is told that he stopped the Mageifa. He said, enough. He said, we had to bring joy to the city. I decree that the Mageifa should stop. And so it happened. The Mageifa stopped. In Zohar says another fascinating story of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That once Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai met a malach. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a great tzaddik. He met this angel. This angel was as tall as 500. It was like a gigantic mountain. And it was fire coming from this angel. The Zohar says, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, what are you doing in the world? He said, I came to destroy the world. The Eibishter God is unhappy, and I came to destroy the world. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said to the angel, go back to God. I'm not allowing you to destroy the world. And the Zohar says, the angel comes back to God and says, I'm sorry. I met Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he says, he's not allowing it. So the God says to the angel, go down again to the world, destroy the world, and don't listen to Bar Yochai. Ignore him. And the angel comes back to the world, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai meets him again and says, what are you doing here? I told you cannot be here. He said, what do you mean? God sent me. He said, I'm telling you, you have no right in this world to destroy the world. Just like Abraham asked God if there's 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 great sages, 10 great righteous men, you cannot destroy the world. And even if there's one righteous man, you can't destroy the world. And I'm a righteous man, therefore, I give you no permission. And a baskol, a voice came out from heaven, the Zohar says, and said, oh, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, my son Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you have the power to change a decree from heaven, even God's decree from heaven. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was given this unbelievable, such a tzaddik, was such a righteous man, that was given unbelievable capabilities to change over even great decrees, terrible decrees that were given from heaven. So we are to connect this coming Tuesday in Mir Shem to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We should all be happy for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, great Tana, who's buried in Miron, in Tzfat. And every year, hundreds of thousands of Jews go and celebrate there this year. I don't think they're going to be hundreds of thousands of Jews there. So we're all going to celebrate in our homes with this great Tana. We're going to ask this great Tana that he should go to God and stand before God and annul all the decrees that's happening in the world. So let us all be happy, and as we come to Monday night, Tuesday, and make a celebration, be happy, come to the Chabad. If you still didn't book your hot dog and hamburger, you can still do that, and we'll all celebrate. We'll all be happy with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We'll celebrate in his joy and happiness. You should Google and find out that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You can go to Chabad.org and you can look up all about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, about what he stood for, who he was, and the greatness of this great tzaddik. There are many, many beautiful stories that are happening until today of the miracles of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and we should only connect him. We believe in tzaddikim. We have emunah tzaddikim. We have belief in tzaddikim. Then those miracles will continue ad hayom hazeh until this day. I wish you a good avach, a shavua tov. We should all have a beautiful week, a happy week. I'm going to unmute everybody, and may we only see each other in great joy with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai this Tuesday. There's going to be a great miracle. This whole world's going to change over, and there's only going to be happiness and joy in the world. And let me introduce you to my family. They are still alive. I want to make sure people know that they're alive and well. Here's Chani, and here's what's your name again? Chaya.
Wow.
And
8 weeks.
I'm going to unmute you, everybody. I'm going to get off of Facebook. Good Tavach, Shavua Tov, and then I'll